Looking to transform your family game nights? At Perfectly Picked Games, we specialize in family games that bring everyone closer. Our games aren't just fun. Kids and teens will learn how to take turns, develop basic strategy skills, and understand the thrill of winning and grace of losing. With our exclusive gift of games, you can give months of gaming excitement to your family. Choose a 3-month or 6-month gift, and we'll deliver hand-picked family games to your doorstep every month. And here's the best part. Right now, you can use the promo code GOLDENMOJO and receive 20% off your selected plan. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Use promo code GOLDENMOJO and save 20% today at Perfectly Picked Games.
Welcome to the United States of Paranormal Podcast. Sit down and buckle up for an enlightening ride through everything cryptid, creepy, and paranormal.
Hello, all of my paranormal freaks out there. It is I, Golden J, hanging out with
the Rocker Chick
and
JDubb
and
Kane.
Just Kane.
That's Kane. I don't know. He can't steal that. It's just Logan.
That's true.
So it's
Right. That's why I just said Kane.
Well, man, welcome to the show. I know you're just here to hang out with us and just kind of chill and do the thing and so welcome to the show.
Yes.
I appreciate it. It's been a rough couple of months, but I will say this has definitely been the highlight of my year so far.
Well,
That's
good.
Awesome.
Oh, I am glad that we can bring that joy to you, and sometimes we forget that ourselves as we're pedaling along, doing all the work and all that stuff too. That people do like us out there, even though you get the ones that don't like our banter.
They don't matter.
Well, they're not listening anyway, so fuck
That's
it.
right. They shut us off.
Just hit the stop button, evidently, I guess.
Well, it is important to remind our listeners, if you're just tuning into the United States Paranormal and you don't enjoy our banter, there is a timestamp in the show notes that you can jump up to that will take you right to where the story for today begins. So, on that note,
Unless you're listening to the ISOCAM episode 128, where there's a lot of banter during the story.
That's okay.
That was a fun one.
it was a lot of fun because he picked on Colton the whole entire time.
That's
So, I
true.
mean, how do you not love that?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, what's been going on?
Nothing. It's been warm. The weather's been really good. So yeah, doing a lot of work outside. Tired. From just normal work and then working outside when we get home. So
Listen, what our listeners don't know is that JDubb works my ass off all day long. And then I come home and the rocker chick is like, keep your ass motivated, and out the fucking door we go, stripping out weeds. We're doing this. We're fucking mowing yards. We're doing all kinds of shit. And then she goes, I'm going to go take a shower. And then I have to go and edit and do all this work. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning before I'm getting to bed.
whatever. You're such a liar.
Yeah, you're such bullshit.
I do believe that a lot of people out there probably don't know how much work it does take to put out a podcast, because we do have a lot of editing that goes. Our banner might be a little crazy sometimes, but I think he edits out a lot of it.
Yeah.
So he does spend a lot of time in the studio working on our episodes, and yeah. So thank you, Golden J.
Yes.
You're so welcome. And when I'm not working on the episodes, I'm working on the Patreon just for you guys out there, which we have new stuff coming, new ideas. We talked about it in the last episode. We kind of really went in depth on it. So, if you're in the Patreon, we appreciate you being there. And if you're not, you can find us at patreon.com/2sop, where you can join a $3, $6, or $12 tier, depending on what you want and what you want to look at. So We have reaction videos. We got trivia. We've got some behind the scenes in the life of JDubb coming soon.
And the rocker chick, Golden J.
Nobody cares about us. They want to see what JDubb does.
That's true. That's true.
Do you think JDubb's going to take
She's
us
the
back
crazy
to the
one.
She is the fucking nut one. She's the nut job of the three of us, if you believe that. Oh my God, did I just get the bird? Holy fuck.
Wow.
Do you think that she's going to take us out to the horse stables so that we can see all the horses and stuff in her behind the
I
scenes?
would hope so.
Probably.
Do you want to talk about what happened to you? Was it earlier this week or the end of last week?
Sunday.
Sunday?
We had just gotten home from the campground and it started raining and there was like nothing on the radar over our house. And like I get in the house, my husband gets in the house, the dog goes out, do her thing. And it starts pouring down rain and hailing and the wind is so bad that like you couldn't see anything except for the tree right in front of my house. It's like maybe 20 feet away. So as it just starts raining, I go check on the horses and they're all in their shelter. They're fine. And then all hell breaks loose. So then I can't see anything. So then as soon as it starts to lighten up, I look out to check on my horses and their shelter's fucking gone. Like it is gone. It had been picked up and flung into the farmer's field next door. So I'm like, holy shit. All I can say is, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And my husband's like, what? And I can't even talk. All I can get out is, oh my God. And I just book it to the barn. And he's following me. And all I can say is, turn the fence off. So I open the door and I'm out there in the wind, in the rain and hail, screaming for my horses, thinking that they're either going to get hit by a car because they're out in the farmer's field somewhere or they're dead or broken legs or something. They were all up front in the front pastures. So they were still in their little pasture fenced in. And I got them in the barn and everybody was good.
That's
no
a good thing.
Yep.
scratches, nothing. But I went from 20 chickens to 4.
Oh.
and a
Really?
duck. Yeah, they're all missing. And they're in a fenced in area too, so I don't know what happened.
Well, that's crazy.
And what's really crazy is that we live less than 15 miles away from each
Mhm.
other?
Yeah.
And we had nothing. We
No.
had blue skies and
Sunshine,
during this.
yeah.
So
Well, it had to have been only in that mile between the 800 and 900 of where we live, because I have a friend that lives on 800 and he said it was only raining. Like
Huh.
not even bad.
crazy.
That's insane. You want to send me that video and I'll put it in right here?
Sure.
Okay.
I can do that.
Cool. There you go. There was a
Yeah.
video.
It was crazy. Oh, I'm like, right now?
No, not right
I
now.
have to tell you this because it's funny. So while my husband is standing at the door watching all this go on where we can't see anything, our barn cat's name is Mona. And she likes to go gallivanting at the neighbor's house because they feed her more food than I do. She's supposed to get rats and mice, you know?
Uh-huh.
Sean goes, there goes Mona. And I go, is she running? Like, I'm like,
Bye.
is she like being blown away, or like is she like a tumbleweed, or was she running? He goes, the fuck, yes, she's running. What is she doing, parasailing? Like, maybe.
All I could think about when you told me that earlier was the movie Twister. It's like, we got cows.
Yes,
We got Mona.
Mona. Exactly. She was just like parasailing like what are those flying squirrels or whatever? Scariest. Yeah, that was the scariest. I'm still shaken up about it. Yep, that was scary.
All I know is that Rocker Chick was on Facebook and you had posted that picture of the stable across that fence.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then, of course, I talked to you the next day and you showed me the video. And I'm like, holy shit, that video is insane. I hope you guys enjoyed it because, it's going to be in that spot that
Yeah.
we just...
It's scary.
Oh,
Whether you just don't know.
Now I'm going to have
just don't know.
PTSD anytime it storms.
Listen, I know people that like Bobby's sister when it rains after the floods of was it Harvey? Was it Harvey that flooded them out the first time?
So.
She had it bad. Every time it stormed, she was really, really
I think
concerned.
she still is.
Oh,
She
I'm
still
sure.
is that
Yeah.
way. Because I mean, they've got hit where they moved to now. So
Yeah, in the first week.
Yeah.
Well, and then the girl we work with, she was in her house and a tornado hit, and she had got a big gash on her leg. She has a big scar.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, weather. We got to love it.
Weather is right up there with aliens.
Right up there with fucking aliens.
So, Kane, what have you always been interested in the paranormal?
Yes, I have. As I was telling Golden Jay, I do actually have YouTube videos and stuff that's coming out. Me and 2 other team members of my investigating team, we are actually called OOPS, Out of the Ordinary Paranormal Society.
Oh, nice.
And we started back in 2020, and a lot of the investigations that we went on, we did catch some form of evidence. And to answer your question in short, my fascination with the paranormal actually started back when I was around 10-ish. I didn't ever really have an experience, but my family has always told me that I came into the room one night and said that my grandfather was standing at the end of my bed, and because I was like 5 years old, they said that he passed, and a few nights afterwards, I said, Mom, Papa's here. He's looking over at the end of my bed, and he went to go check on Danielle. And just that's the first real, any kind of haunting that I've experienced. But as far as that goes, when I was a kid, and it's an embarrassing story, my grandfather bought us a ghost, and it done the Monster Mash song and did a little dance and all that. My sister would chase me around the house with it, and I was scared about it. Why? I don't remember. Just for me, it was scary. So at some point in my, around 10 years old, I started watching taps on, Dish Network, recording them, and then going back in like 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays and watching it, and then I eventually moved over to nighttime. And then, as I got older, I started, going outside, because me and my sister had terrible fears of the dark. And now I pretty much live in the dark. I kind of thrive in the paranormal field. I tend to really enjoy it. If it's not the paranormal field, it's just the, just the serenity of the outside at nighttime.
Gotcha.
We, like I said, which caused me to go into doing ghost hunting myself. So, I would definitely not consider myself a professional paranormal investigator, not claim that title, but I am an investigator.
Okay.
What is your YouTube channel out? What is the name of it? I mean,
Out of the Ordinary Paranormal Society.
So if we go to youtube.com, it's Out of the Ordinary Paranormal Society then?
Yep.
Cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
I know that you sent me one video. I have not made it through the whole thing yet because, like I said, I just freaking get busy. And when I do get a chance, I flip it on and watch a little bit, and then I have to go back to what I'm doing. But
sorry, I did not mean to cut you off there.
No, you're right.
Sorry. I usually mess that up. But actually, the video that you were watching got removed, and I re-uploaded it with our intro, outro, and made sure that it came out a little bit better than what it was.
Right on.
So that may be more pleasurable to watch than the original, because there was a couple where the editing software malfunctioned, and I had to go back and fix that.
Right.
Happens.
That was something else I was going to say, was that I completely understand the whole editing thing and being like 4 o'clock in the morning. Man, I'm the only one that does the editing in our group, and I'm the one that keeps the track of the time dates and when we're supposed to go live, like all that. And I'm just sitting there going, okay, I need you, and you to come here. I need you over there, and somebody's got to grab the camera. And with investigations, that's how it usually runs, is like, okay, you're on the tablet, you're on the EMF, I've got the camera, you're going to have the extra flashlights. If we need them, we'll go to you.
Right.
If you see something, hear something, point it out, give it a second, and ask if anybody can confirm. And that's usually just the baseline of what we do. Anything else in those videos is just, it's a mess.
I get it.
These recent videos will actually be, the more recent videos, they will contain alcohol usage. A couple other, not safe for, anyone below 18.
Right.
There is a warning, actually, if you look at the new videos that have been reposted, there's a warning at the beginning of the video telling you guys, we don't recommend this, do not try to attempt this on your own, all that. We basically kind of say, hey, look, we're doing this, but don't imitate us, and some of these scenes might be, disturbing to, a specific audience, or
right.
influential to a specific audience. We don't want you to allow them to interact with this, which actually had made our views, our views went from being like towards my age, around 28 and down, to more up towards the 45 area, to the 50 area, which is that's phenomenal, because I enjoy older audience, because that means that they're they want to see what's going on,
right?
And if you really look at it, that's the way you want it, is you want people curious, and you want them to know, you want to inform them. But a couple of these videos definitely do not go part to plan, but nonetheless, they tend to be exciting. So we capped them.
We never have anything go according to plan.
Never.
Ever. It's just how you roll with it.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So let's move on.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
All right. So the question I have is, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Name some things you couldn't live without.
Who wants to go first? JDubb's thinking about it.
Jumps on that one.
We're not doing a specific number, because I can just think of 3 right off the top of my head.
Just so name the 3.
Mountain Dew.
Okay.
Can't live without Mountain Dew.
All right.
I think I would freak the fuck completely out without Mountain Dew.
All right.
Ozzy, the dog that I didn't want.
All right.
I gotta have Ozzy, and the rocker chick. Those are the 3 things that I couldn't live without.
Well, I think you could live without.
The rocker chicks is Dean Winchester, Sam Winchester.
No, mine would be coffee.
Coffee.
Starbucks double shot mocha.
So Starbucks, if you're listening, we can sure use some discount coupons for anything on Amazon.
Let's see what else. I would have to say food and water, food and drink. And
Really? That is that.
well, yeah, I can't live without it.
I think that's just a fucking. That is. Like
I've had one alcoholic beverage
tonight.
in the last 2 hours, and I'm about drunk because I haven't ate today. So yeah, I need food.
You'll fall out of her fucking chair and
Fall asleep.
and my family, which includes you.
Oh yeah, it includes me. More so the dog and her kids, and then maybe me.
Golden Jay.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Damn, that hurts. All right, JDubb.
My husband.
Oh,
Horses.
he got top.
Well, Sean's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
so,
he
I
is.
mean, you know.
I can't live without Sean.
What is going on here?
Sean. Horses. Tacos. Popcorn. Beer. Sour Skittles.
Dang.
Garlic. Potatoes.
Find no vampires.
My camper. My golf cart. My dog.
Your dog. Sounds like a country song now.
Yeah, all that stuff.
That's a long list. Whew.
You know me.
What about you, Kane?
Well, I would honestly have to say, first off would be definitely my family. Second off, it would have to be a vehicle. Can't do it without it. I mean, in that aspect alone, transportation, you know, in the wonderful mountains of West Virginia is it's kind of a must.
You ain't walking anywhere.
I could. I've done it, but is it pleasurable? Because it's very rarely do we ever get those days where it's real nice and pretty and it's not too hot, or it's just not absolutely cold. Very, very few days. But I would have to say probably one of the last things that I couldn't live without for sure is my little brothers. My little brothers I know they are counted as family, but these are my adopted little brothers. I could not live without them.
No.
Because in all honesty, they have gotten me through some of the toughest things, and they have, you know, put their backs in to support me, and I wouldn't be here without them.
Awesome.
That's great. That's great.
With that being said, our Golden Jay, I specifically want to tell all of you guys that I really do appreciate the talk about the mental health on here. That really set a fire under me, and I wanted to personally go ahead and say thank you, all you guys. Thank you. And
Of course.
with that being said,
we all go through tough stuff, and yeah, we're always here.
Oh, absolutely.
We all have ears, and we're all listening. And yes, we definitely all go through it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're happy for you because since you sent us the first email and we talked during all that, you know, you have repeatedly told me that things are getting better for you, and that's because you put, you know, you kept your head up and you kept striving for what you're striving for. I mean, I know we talked about a couple of different things along the way, but man, we're proud of you for not succumbing to it and to really go after it and, to make yourself a better person and all that stuff. So yeah, we're definitely, Tucson's way proud of you, brother. And we're happy that you're here with us tonight. And we hope you enjoy doing something cool that we think is cool too. So
I have told everyone that I could think about that I was going to be on here tonight. I said, I am bound and determined. I don't care what's coming up. If it's the end of the world can wait, because I'm going to have my highlight this year not ruined I'm gonna get it. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm gonna get it this time.
Awesome.
But like I said, as you are aware, Golden Jay, I don't know if the Rocker Chick or JDubb are aware, but I had a couple hiccups last time when I was supposed to be on here, and like I said, things happen, and I really do appreciate y'all wanting to try to reconnect again. That meant a lot to me, and I was bound and determined not to miss this one. But as I said, that would have to be honestly my top 3. Top 5, I'm kind of drawing dots on, honestly. I can't really think anything that I can't just shed off other than, my family, my transportation, and if it was just kind of like, well, we'll pay for you to, just cut everything else off, I couldn't really think of anything else other than probably something to occupy my time. That's about it for me.
Right.
Right on. Well, are we ready to get into today's story? JDubb!
Sure.
Ooh, all right. What are you talking about?
I don't know if I'm going to like this one.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. I say that a lot, but I don't know. This one was just... Some of the stories that I found of personal experiences are like, I don't know. Some of them are like, ugh. And some of them are just like, stupid. But
you like those the best.
What I'll let you guys decide. And I'm going to butcher words, probably hiccup or sneeze or something in the middle of it like I always do.
Hey, just remember one important rule.
Don't chew gum.
No farting.
Oh, no fighting.
Okay.
All right.
Not doing either one. So, hey, let's go.
I might.
Yeah, we know. Jeez. All righty, Roo. We are going to talk about jinns.
Ooh.
Not Jens or JDubbs. It's jinns.
How do you spell that?
DJINNS.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I said it right. It's
No,
jinn
it's
or
jinn.
jinn.
It's
Okay.
Jin.
Yeah. You nailed it.
Okay, good, thanks. In Islam, the jinn are a race of spirits or spirit beings that can be good or evil. Jinn is the origin of the more familiar word of genie in English. The jinn were created before man, while the jinn were made of fire without smoke. Man was made of clay and angels created of light. The jinn are invisible. So if they are invisible, how do we know they exist? Dun dun dun.
Please tell us.
Many things exist that our eyes do not see,
It's true.
such as air and electrical current. So we don't know. Where do jinns live? The jinn prefer to live in places not inhabited by man, such as deserts and wastelands. Some live among dirty places. That just sounded weird to me, but okay. And others live among man. The jinn live in these said dirty places in order to eat the remainders of food thrown away by people. Also, certain jinn live in cemeteries and ruins. Can jinns change form? The jinn have the capacity to take many forms and to change appearance. They can take a human or animal form, such as a cow, a scorpion, a snake, a bird, etc. The black dog is the devil of the dogs, and the jinn often appear in this form. They can also appear in the form of a black cat. Not my Mona, but she is a demon.
Mona's a black cat. I kind of picture
No,
her as a
she's
calico.
a tortoise shell, but she is a demon.
Okay.
When a jinn takes a human or animal form, it obeys the physical laws of this form. For example, it will be possible to see it or to kill it with a gunshot or to wound it with a knife.
Oh.
For this reason, jinn remain in these forms for only a short time because they are vulnerable. In fact, they benefit from their invisibility to frighten people.
Oh.
Like to scare people. Are jinn...
Like Lindsay.
Oh, she could be one. Are jinn afraid of humans? The jinn and men feared each other mutually, but the jinn were able to instill more fear, or to instill fear more intensely than man. The jinns are more fearful beings by nature, but they can also feel such human emotions as anger or sadness. In fact, the jinn benefit from these states being better able to cause fear in the heart of man, like bad dogs. When they sense your fear, they will attack. All right. So that's what jinns are.
All I can think of is like Aladdin.
I know.
Like the genie living in the cave all by himself. You know what I'm saying?
The one part of jinns, but I mean, we're going to get into the personal reports now. I got there's some lengthy ones, some short ones, and yeah, you let me know what you think about them when we're done.
Okay.
All right, number one. My first strange experience with a jinn happened when I was at Uni in Jordan. I lived in an all-girls dormitory and had my own room. I've always dreamed almost daily, and I dream all kinds of random things, but I started to experience a new kind of dream while living in those dorms. To be honest, they felt like very realistic dreams because I would always be in my room with everything looking exactly the same, as though I randomly woke up at night, but there would be figures that in my head I knew were jinns. At times, it was the shape of a man or a woman sitting on the edge of my bed just watching me. Another time, it was 3 women hanging upside down in the corner of the ceiling with long hair flowing down and glowing eyes. It was always the same, with me still in my bed just witnessing these creepy figures around me. My mind would always tell me that clearly this was just a dream, but it was a dream I'd only experienced, bless you, in that particular room. There were also times when I'd feel someone touching me when I was in bed, yet no one was there. Sometimes a breath on my ear, and I'd always deny it to myself and try to explain it away. Anyways, I didn't think much of it until one holiday we were having a party on the roof of our dorms. We had a big communal area there where we'd throw parties or movie nights and other get-togethers. As we were chatting as a group, jinn stories became a discussion, and one girl decides to talk about these strange dreams that she's been having recently and that it only happens when she's here and not at home. She literally described the exact same dreams I've been having. That's when I felt really creeped out and mentioned that I was experiencing the same thing, and another girl admitted to experiencing it too. We later found out that our rooms are directly above or below one another, and that there was a fire that had burnt part of the building down many years ago, and that it was abandoned for the longest time and was only recently fixed and made into girls' dormitory. I honestly don't know what the connection is, but we had no explanation for what was happening. I ended up changing rooms and never experienced those strange dreams or jinn molestation, or whatever it was again.
Jinn molestation?
That's kind of crazy that, yeah, she's experienced it and then finds out that other people are too. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next one. I'm a little winded. Don't know why, but I want to go. Once when I was a teenage boy. Sorry, I'm done. Once when I was a teenage boy, I was on a solo hike in the wilderness looking for animal bones. I had a passion for zoology. On this occasion, I took my dog Flash along with me to keep me company.
Oh, man. Flash?
I got turned around and ended up being very lost for many hours. Both the dog and I were getting hungry, and it was muggy and humid, like it is in here. Good Lord.
It is warm in here.
As the sun went down, I became further disoriented. The hooting and howling sounds in the dark forest would make even the bravest among us a little apprehensive. I looked for the tall radio tower with the glowing red lights on it that I sometimes used to get my bearing, but it was nowhere to be found. I began to get very nervous, and as I wandered, I came upon a large marsh like one I had never seen before. I had traveled in these woods many, many times, and far, far off in the distance I saw the red lights of the tower, though it looked so far away. I noticed the fireflies began to glow in the wilderness, but something about it struck me as strange. There was not just 1 or 2 or 10 glowing bugs, but thousands all around me in the woods. As they surrounded me in the pitch blackness of the forest, I felt as though I was floating somewhere in outer space surrounded by stars. Then I saw above the water of the marsh between the cattails a glowing orb. At first, I thought it was another firefly, but it was too large and the wrong color, more blue or white, not green like beautiful insects. It seemed to beckon me towards the water as to say, this is the way out of the forest. So I walked towards it thinking the water was very shallow, but quickly I sank into the mud. It pulled me down like quicksand. I froze, terrified that if I moved, I would sink further. Just then, my dog jumped in the water, trying to rescue me. He was a lovely animal, but not very bright, like Shasta. He instantly sank himself and began to flail about. I imagine he thought he would grab my collar and drag me to safety, but it was not the case. He sunk, and I was forced to grab him. I pulled him over my shoulders and began to wade slowly through the mud and water. It felt as though I was walking in a sea of yogurt or honey. I moved more slowly than I ever moved in my life, all the while clutching onto my dog wrapped around my neck like a scarf. The orb continued to glow and just hover silently. As I moved forward, it moved forward, always keeping distance from me, but guiding me through the marsh. I must have taken nearly an hour to cross the marsh. The whole time I feared for my life, soaking wet, cold, and afraid I might sink into the mud and never be seen again. As I made it to the bank and pulled myself and my dog to the marsh, I lost sight of the orb. I did not see it again. I began to walk towards the radio tower with the red lights, but as I did, I realized it was not my radio tower at all. It was a completely different tower. I was bewildered. Where was I? I moved closer and closer to it coming on a road in a small township. I recognized it. My friend lived there, but it was miles and miles away from where I had entered the forest. How did I get there? I didn't even know the forest went in that direction of his house. I knocked on the door, covered in mud, up to my neck, my dog mucky and soaking wet. He answered, "What the hell happened to you?" He said, You're never going to believe me, but I just had an encounter with a djinn," I replied. All of that for that.
Listen, the most important thing is the dog survived. I thought you were going to kill the dog off.
I wouldn't have put it in there. I would not have put it in there. Okay, this one's kind of funny. This one boy in my class really fucking gets on my nerves. He touches me, pulls me, puts his arms around me, and pretends to be my friend. We're both, sorry if this offends anybody. We're both Muslim, and he showed me a video in which a jinn possessed a body. I personally do not believe in jinn, so I told him that's fucking bullshit. He started arguing back on how jinns are real. Anyway, here's the main story. This is his words.
Oh.
He told me about his previous house he lived in, which was modern on the outside and old on the inside. He moved into that house when he was 8. His parents gave him his own room, and next to his bedroom was a room his parents told him not to go into. Here's the scary part. His parents were horrified of that room, and he does not have a clue why. Now, of course, he went to check on what was inside, but he didn't do that in the day. He did it during the night when his parents were sleeping. I shit you not. This little boy found a dead body in this room with carpet stained with blood as the body was hanging from the ceiling on a rope, and he says he saw a djinn next to the bright white, or next to the body with bright white eyes and little strokes of hair and white skin staring at him sideways with the djinn's body faced to the dead body. He shut the door and screamed so loudly it woke up the next door neighbors and his parents.
Well, yeah.
All I can think of is Schmeagol from The Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I don't watch
Yeah.
this movie. The parents hugged him while he was shitting his pants. Police were called by the neighbors because of the screaming, and it turns out the parents were poor, killed the landlord, took the house, and left the body in that room.
Oh,
He is now in foster care going to the same damn fucking school as me.
what? Oh, my.
wow.
Yeah,
Well, that's a twist.
I know.
Damn, M. Night Shyamalan.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, number 4.
Number 4.
One story my cousin told me was about his friend's uncle who was driving from work one night, and this lady shows up on the side of the road crying and wailing and asking to be dropped back home. The guy was obviously freaked and said no, but the woman insisted, claiming her husband would get really mad and her daughters were alone at home, so he said yes. As soon as the woman was in the car, she started wailing and crying in a very quiet voice that sounded like some tune you would hear from a horror movie. She told him to drop her off at her house near a river 2 hours away.
Huh?
He couldn't, so he instead decided taking her to the police station. After 15 minutes, the woman stops crying abruptly, and the driver looks from the front mirror and sees that she has really, really long nails, and he then noticed that her feet were the opposite way. He started getting really scared and started praying. Hearing him, the woman started smiling and giggling, as he raised his voice, she became quiet. After a minute, she told him to stop the car and drop her there. When she was getting out of the car, she told him the only thing that saved him was him knowing Jesus and stating the prayer that if he didn't, he would have been dead by now because she was a dun.
The feet were going the wrong way.
Yeah.
That is a lot to take in that little bit of the story. Holy cow.
It's weird. My number 5.
Okay, here comes story number 5.
My family friend, very reluctantly, told me a story about her brother who went to university in Pakistan in the 70s. He had one roommate who the family was very close to. They had been studying together for years and have been living in the dorm together. They came home late one night, and my family friend's brother asked his friend to turn off the light by the door because he was tired and wanted to go directly to bed. His roommate replied, "If you make me turn off that light, we will no longer be friends." To which my family friend's brother laughed and said, "Come on, man, just turn off the light." They went back and forth for a while, his roommate resisting and continuing to ask him to turn the light off. His roommate's arms stretched from across the room and flipped off the light, and my family friend's brother passed out from fear. The next morning, all his belongings were gone, and so was he. He was inhuman, and in fact, a djinn.
Well, that would fuck up your whole night's sleep, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
I was thinking, oh God, there's going to be like the urban legend where the writing on the wall, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn the light on?" or something like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was a djinn. He just stuck his Go Gadget arm across there and turned the light off.
You just Inspector Gadget that, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 6. Our neighbor's son was a small plane pilot. He also had red hair. One day he went off for a flight with his little brother. also a redhead. They never came back. Their mother was distraught. She tried everything to get back her sons. Finally, after years of searching, she found some Pakistani Maulana religious leader
Okay.
who said he could find the boys. The religious leader took a large plate of water and began to cry. He summoned a jinn to tell him the location of the neighbor's boys. But before the jinn gave the location, he asked for a girl and a boy age of 7 to look and tell what they saw. The only boy and girl were me and my friend Sonny. Apparently, we both went into a trance of sorts and said the same thing, that we saw a downed plane and a pale boy with red dreadlocks walking amongst many men also with dreadlocks. He was smoking a pipe and was mostly naked. The plane was near a river and a grove of trees high on a big mountain. The family used the last of their money to gather a search team and search the Aberdare Mountains. They not only found the plane, but also found the younger boy with dreadlocks living amongst the last of the Mau, M-A-U.
Okay.
Sure. By that time, they ran out of money to pay the religious man, and it was said that he cursed them. They said terrible things about him. 5 years later, the rescued boy was found dead with his mouth stuffed with money. He was an addict and got in with bad people. 10 years later, at 16, I became very ill. I nearly died. I was almost comatose for 2 days when I woke up. Sonny, my best friend, had suddenly died from an asthma attack. We had both been in perfect health on Friday 3 days earlier. Later on, I heard a rumor that my father had finally paid the religious man off for his work to save my life, but the jinn had claimed all they had seen. Before you say, "What nonsense?" My father was a doctor and very unreligious, but even he realized that something unnatural was happening. My mother's family were very superstitious and spent days consulting and sacrificing things to make sure the jinn left us alone. They didn't, however, and various members of our family have been plagued with things that could only be explained by mental illness or straight up jinn possession. Essentially, since they often resolve with no meds and religious intervention. I am now a medical professional myself and very unreligious and superstitious, but I have seen some shit that defies logic. That could only mean it was by a jinn. The flight. This is what they called it. One time my mother-in-law was sitting in her bed. She looked over and saw a woman sitting in the chair next to her bed with long pointy fingernails and a face with very sharp angles. She was so frustrated and annoyed with the jinn they see a lot in their house and are no longer afraid, just really annoyed by them, that she reached out and grabbed the jinn by the wrist. She yelled, "Get out! I'm tired of you, bitch! Get out!" It started to try to pull its wrist away and eventually tried to bite her hand because she wouldn't let go. She pulled her hand away before it bit her, and then the jinn vanished. She's like, "Bitch, you try bite me." Throwing hands.
I don't like gin. My goodness.
At my boarding school, we had a few cases of bullying. In one instance, a bully broke a chain on a student's neck. As soon as that happened, the girl started to speak in a male voice while her body contorted in strange positions.
Jesus.
It said it was a jinn and had traveled from a faraway place. Meanwhile, the bully's tongue swelled and almost prevented her from breathing. Long story short, teachers were called into the room. Apparently, her parents knew and had gotten the chain for their daughter from a shaman to hold the jinn in.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck around and find out. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
All right. This happened when my grandfather was Egypt's ambassador to Spain and was living in Spain. I was 2 years old at the time. My mother said she would see me standing by the staircase, constantly talking to someone, and when she would put me to bed, I would stare out the door and say, "Tic-tac, tic-tac." Later on, my grandmother mentioned to my mom that she thinks I might be seeing spirits or jinns in the house, and when we were talking about it, my grandfather said that the TV would turn on in his room and sporadically and sometimes could see shadows running across the balcony through the slits of the blinds. Could only have been jinns.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like ghosts.
Or
Cool.
just somebody running outside your house.
Yeah, that's true. My grandmother said that it's known little children and animals can see spirits or jinns, so when they saw me talking to something, they assumed there were spirits or jinns in the house, and I was the only one that could communicate with them.
Well, I mean, we talked about that with kids, and the veil is a lot thinner for children.
Yeah. This is an old Persian jinn story. One day, a lady goes to the public bathhouse. She pays the attendant and goes inside. Once inside, she notices someone in the room with her. She looks down at their feet, but instead of feet, the person has hooves. The lady freaks out and runs outside as fast as she can. She rushes to the attendant and tells her that she saw someone with hooves instead of feet. The attendant looks at her, lifts up her skirt, and asks, "Like these?"
Oh. That's always a good sign, isn't it?
Okay. I grew up in an Arab household with many Arab family friends, so I've heard many scary jinn stories. A family friend of mine claimed that she went to bed one night and her whole house was a mess. By the time she woke up, her entire house was clean. For some reason, that freaked me out when I was little. Every night, I made sure my room was clean so that jinns wouldn't clean it for me. Nowadays, being a wife with a full-time college student, I could only pray that a jinn would clean my house for me. And what the heck? Cook dinner as well.
Yeah, no shit.
Fucking laundry, yeah.
That one? That's probably the genie.
Probably, yeah.
All right, this one. A few years ago, when I was on my third trimester of pregnancy, I would only be able to fall asleep when dawn came. Just as I was about to fall asleep one night, I felt pressure on the end of the bed near my feet, as if someone very heavy sat on the bed, which was weird because I didn't even hear anyone come into my room. No creaking door, no footsteps. Just then, an eerie voice spoke straight into my mind. The language was unintelligible and distorted. I knew it wasn't human, but a jinn. But to my surprise, I understood what it was trying to say. My brain processed it easily, as if I had learned the language somewhere in the past. It asked me to pray my morning prayer. I was too sleepy and too scared to actually open my eyes. What if its face was suddenly right in front of my nose? So I responded in my head, communicating without actually opening my mouth to say a word. "Later, please. I'm so tired I didn't get to sleep." After I said so, the weight on the end of the bed lifted. The air, which was previously heavy with presence, became light and clear. I opened my eyes a little and saw the early morning light gleam through my window. My door stood still. No one came in or out. I fell back asleep. Could only have been a jinn. I like how they add, could only have been a jinn.
It does add a little, pizzazz to the end of that. I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be interesting to be able to communicate like that? Through your mind to mind.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently in Saudi, my aunt lived in a house that was once being visited by a particular jinn who used to annoy her family. Once she was laying in bed at night with her husband, she felt that something was off. And when she left the room, she found her husband watching TV on the couch. When they went back into the bedroom to confront the jinn, it just laughed and went away.
Okay.
My great uncle went to visit his cousins in India. His cousins told him that since it was summertime and they would all sleep in the courtyard together. However, they told him he wasn't allowed to place his bedding in a particular corner. Apparently, a jinn slept there, and strange things happened if anyone disturbs that corner. My great uncle said it was nonsense and decided to sleep there anyway. One night, he woke up on the other side of the court. He laughed at first and thought it was his cousins who were pranking him and decided to sleep there again. The following night, the same thing happened, so he left a note next to the pillow saying, "Stop pranking me. I know there is no jinn." That night, he said he was pushed off his bed and his bedding was thrown on the other side. A note was thrown into his lap which said, "I sleep here." The scary part is, it wasn't that dark and there was no one there.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is a different uncle, by the way.
Different uncle.
Yeah. My uncle once told me a story about a couple. The husband used to work in the force, so he would be sent on long trips outside the village. His wife was usually lonely, but befriended a man.
Oh.
He would sit on her courtyard wall with his back facing her, so she could only see his face when he turned around to answer her back. It was a sweet friendship. One evening, she asked him to come over for tea and bring his wife along with him. But instead of getting down using the door, he took his leg and stretched it 10 feet down her wall to her side of the yard. He said, "Why didn't you offer me tea before? I would have loved to come down and have chai with you." That's a long leg. Just one leg.
Just one. He only needed one.
What is it, his third leg?
No, maybe you're doing a helicopter dick. Who knows?
Okay. This is a short one. So. My friend was staying in the north of Morocco for the summer. One morning, she woke up with a big triangle of henna on her hand. She showed it to every person in her family, and they said the only valid reason was that she was now married to a jinn.
Oh.
Don't get any henna in your hand.
Doesn't your daughter-in-law do a lot of that, Hannah, when they go out?
Yeah, I think that, she gets henna every once in a while. I don't think she just wakes up with it randomly.
Well, I'm just saying, they go have it done. Well, your niece does it too every once in a while, yeah.
All right. This is the last one, guys.
Last one.
My mother was visiting her parents. While she was praying in her room, she heard her mom laughing at her in the doorway. After she finished praying, she went to her mom's room and asked, "Why were you laughing at me earlier?" My mom replied, "I've been in bed for a few hours now. I wasn't laughing at you." My mom concluded it was a jinn trying to distract me from my prayers. In the same house, you could hear footsteps walking throughout the house and might feel someone sit on your bed while you're sleeping. I also used to have one in my bedroom. Every night around 3 a.m., I'd hear this old hag crying. We lived in the corner apartment on the top floor, and I couldn't find out where it was coming from. I thought it was coming from under my bed. It got so bad I had to stop sleeping in there. That's where the jinn slept.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So, in your research and everything you've done, the jinn has never really been violent, has it?
No, it's more like a trickster, seems like.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a ghost, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just their version of a ghost. They call it something different.
It's weird because when in some of the things that I have saw with jinn in them, a lot of them, they're very aggressive, and people are very, very scared of them. Whereas with some of these firsthand stories, it's just like they're there, say your prayers, say your morning prayers, or just they just doesn't seem aggressive in those stories. So I mean, taking away from either side of that, it's a little strange sometimes to it. I'm trying to think. It was one video where they said it was a jinn, and it was actually coming at them and starting to try to get like attack them or whatever. But this is what you get from videos. But
yeah, but like in all the I watched The Witcher, and in one the djinn is like a genie, but also bad. Like you could get 3 wishes, but yeah, it was you would get your wishes, but it was also something bad. So yeah, I don't know. Hollywood portrays things differently too.
True. Or you ask for a 12-inch penis, and you get a little guy that plays the piano. It's fucking. That's the way they. That's what you follow. What I'm saying here.
Yeah.
They're tricksters because you get your wishes, but it's not what you want.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I did have a question. Now, going along with the idea that Golden Jay had, like what he was saying, Golden Jay and Rocker Chick. I'm almost half tempted to believe that it is just either djinn or what we consider ghost, or
Right.
maybe it might be the opposite way around, but they have a lot of the same, abilities and attributes. Just one can transfer into animals. And I mean, who's to say that black dog doesn't belong to, someone down the road?
Yeah.
Right.
Would
Or
I find it a
skinwalker.
little strange out in the middle of, a wooded area with just a 2-lane road? Absolutely. But,
Yes.
it's very real and very possible. As far as what I'm considering, maybe that puts a whole new idea and spin on the factor that for example, what me and my team was chasing might have been a djinn, because
You
You
never
just
know.
never know.
you can't tell for sure, but I
Right.
mean, it would make sense. I
Mhm.
mean, it would make sense as far as the lore goes. Now I did have a question. Did they tell it? JDubb, did it ever say in any of the research of how long it would take for a djinn to transform between aspects?
No, I didn't see anything like that.
But
No.
the only thing you did say was that they could be hurt when they were
Yeah.
transformed into a
Yeah, so
human or
when
an
they-
animal.
When they're not just a djinn or they're in a human body or whatever, then they don't like to stay there very long because they are vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, the other thing is with the way the stories were set up, right? I was looking at it and I was going, man, they would have to really pull some strings to make a, arm go all the way across the room. I started looking back in my room. I was like, that's a distance, man. Like,
Yeah.
and the guy with the leg that came down to the ground. No, that would
Yeah,
be
that
me
sounds
out
pretty
here.
scary.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Um,
nope, we ain't having tea.
And if that,
Shy.
no, you can have your chai over there, not here.
Yeah. Here, I'll throw it to you.
Well,
Yeah.
no, he can just reach over and grab it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not
You
going to
can
be a
just-
big deal.
His leg's already down there, so he goes with his toe.
Oh,
Yeah.
just use the pinky toe, like
Yeah,
Oh,
a little stirry there. Oh, extend the
But
pinky
yeah.
toe. They can-
Definitely, different countries have different versions
Yeah.
of what we have. And,
Yeah.
sometimes they're called the same thing. Sometimes they're called different
Right.
names. And I think they all can join. I mean, like you said, that could be, some of those could be what we call a skinwalker, or,
Yeah.
so it's
Or a
just,
demon.
it's very, yeah. So everything kind of all combines into
Absolutely.
one thing.
Absolutely. And you've seen some pretty freaky footage of skinwalkers too.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Oh my.
Now I can
All right, guys.
attest. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can attest that, with the whole idea of a djinn, right? I can attest that, just the idea that they could transform has a lot of the skinwalker ability kind of feel to it.
Right.
Yep.
And it just seems like it's a mashup of things, and maybe the things that we came up with are bits and pieces of one thing. I just thought about that and I was like, well, that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we need to wrap this up. It's getting late, and I got to get JDubb home so she can go do her chores yet.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a good story.
I probably won't have a voice tomorrow.
That was a lot. That was a lot of information. That was a lot of stories.
I told you I wasn't going to let you down with this one. This was going to be a long one.
We'll see what happens tomorrow, and if your coworkers pick up on the fact that I had you talking for the last hour.
It's not like my when I was on that TV show, I talked for 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
And I did not have a voice for 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to United States Paranormal. Kane, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the story and all the stuff that goes with the recording of the story.
Absolutely.
He's going to listen back.
Phenomenal.
He's going to listen back and is like, that's an edit. That's an edit. That's an edit.
That's okay.
Go check out the UnitedStatesParanormal.com where you can get all of your Tucson merchandise, including Parafeet, Celestial Stag, and hopefully coming soon, Paraboobs.
We're going to do the Paraboobs.
I think Paraboobs would be amazing.
They'd be your boobs.
Yep. Gender change for a day.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, they would be. Also, if you have any great stories or any feedback for us, the United States Paranormal at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. As Kane knows, I try to get back as soon as I can. Sometimes it's not as quickly as I'd like, but I always try to answer anybody who emails us. So anything else you want to put out there?
Nope. I think I'm done for the night.
Done?
Oh,
we do have one more thing to do.
Oh, that's right. You got to spin the wheel.
We got to spin it. We got to spin the wheel. Let me see if I can get this to work.
Why are we spinning the wheel, JDubb? Rocker chick?
I'll answer that. We are going to get a new state that we can all compete against each other.
So Rocker chick can win.
Woo!
Again.
Let's go.
Let's see.
Let's see what our state's going to be.
Okay, so here's the deal. We did Arkansas.
Yep.
Yes.
So we did, the three of us picked the scariest story, and we went head to head to head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're about to pick another state to go and do this again.
Okay.
But I brought the wheel.
All right.
And if Mason's still on board, he is going to bring the fourth story.
Nice.
Okay.
So we're gonna do this. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Just spin the wheel.
Yes,
Here we go.
spin it. I'm excited.
Spin it. Here we go.
Oh, that's a cool noise.
No.
Oh,
we got
Missouri. Missouri. All right.
There you go. Find your scariest stories
In Missouri.
in Missouri.
All right.
And let's go. Mason, straw man. Missouri. I will actually email you a little bit later tonight to let you know. But yeah, there we go.
Sweet.
All right. Woohoo.
We're gonna stop sharing
to
and be
Missouri.
back. There we go. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Kane, thank you again.
Thank you, Kane.
Thank you.
And remember, keep it spooky. And I'll see you on the other side.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the United States of Paranormal. Check us out at theunitedstatesofparanormal.com or at any other of our social media pages. At Twitter at TOSOPPOD, at Instagram at the United States of Paranormal, or Facebook at the United States of Paranormal, or YouTube at the United States of Paranormal 1795.
Please check out our other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network. The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, Indiana Chiefs Fans, The Golden 80s, Murd Nerds, and A Quart of Books and Booze.
And if you have a location you would like us to check into or a creepy story that you would love to tell us, please email us at theunitedstatesofparanormal@gmail.com. Please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen.